We up in this thing. Appreciate you guys joining us for another episode of the Coma. Much love to the Who That Nation. Happy Thanksgiving, past Thanksgiving for you guys. Happy holidays to you guys as well. We got a very special guest that'll be tuning in, that's in for the Sports Coma. This brother knows a lot of the great things that's going on with the 49ers Nation. You always know we like to peek, get the best from the other side to give us some game. This is Mr. Grant Cohn of the Cohn Zone. He's in the building. He represents SI. Let me see if I can get that up on there. This is his Twitter feed right here, Mr. Grant Cohn over there. He works with the with Fan Nation, all 49 FM, and that's attached to the SI network. And you can see his YouTube page right here. Grant Cohn, go over there and subscribe and hit him up. Welcome to the stream, my friend. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. This was a great intro. I love the No Limit Tank you got. Everything about this is phenomenal. I'm really excited to be on the show.
Thank you. Well, you know what? It's the. I tell you what, bro. Like I'm from from New Orleans. I'm born and raised New Orleans. I'm a diehard through and through, black and gold man, Pelican man, LSU. That's just what we do. So yeah, we that's how we rock it.
I can hear it. You heard?
You heard me?
You heard? Love it.
But hey, Grant, let's cover it, man. Let's talk about it, my friend. The 49ers, man, as it stands, man, I was watching some film over the Niners, over the Thanksgiving, man. I seen the Monday night matchup against Arizona where they just knocked the crap out of Arizona 38-10. 3-game winning streak. The 49er club, at first, Trey Lance, had his injury situation, and they were kind of up and down, but looked like they found themselves over these last 3 weeks. What are your thoughts on their turnaround right there, my friend?
Well, I feel like everyone talks about their offense because the coach is an offensive coach, and there's a lot of stars on the offense. Jimmy, McCaffrey, Ayuk, Debo, Kittle. I mean, Trent Williams. So they get a lot of the publicity, but it's a defensive team. And the reason they've sort of found themselves over the last 3 weeks is because their defense has given up 0 points after halftime the last 3 weeks.
Oh,
So zero. So yeah, Kyle Shanahan, Jimmy, like they're doing some good things, but that offense has been inconsistent. Like just 2 weeks ago, the offense looked pretty bad against the Chargers, who are going nowhere. But this defense has been consistently great, especially after halftime. And it's like we're sort of waiting for someone to show the league what to do against this Niners defense. Like Andy Reid eviscerated it, but he kind of runs a particular offense. He's got the best quarterback. No one else has been able to replicate what he did. So here's the Saints' opportunity to show the league what works. And if it's not the Saints, then next week it'll be the Dolphins, which is very interesting because Mike McDaniel came from the Niners. So the next few weeks, this defense may get not exposed, but right now there's no book on what to do against this defense. They're that good.
Wow, yeah, I agree, man. I was looking at the film, man. I think they're rated number one if I'm not mistaken, they're number one in the NFL, aren't they?
I believe so. In yards, I believe so. I'm not sure about points, but I think they're maybe fourth in points allowed.
It's amazing, man.
Yeah.
They've definitely turned it out, and you're right. I mean, some of the weapons they have is phenomenal. But yeah, that's the sticking point of we talk about going into it with the Saints against the 49ers club. What I noticed about the 49ers that they have solid play at the quarterback position. I knew Trey Lance was supposed to be the guy. He got hurt. Jimmy Garoppolo, they were thinking about trading him. They kept him. Good thing they did. Great, and he come in there. Jimmy is looking pretty good. 15 touchdown versus 4 picks on the year. He's playing pretty phenomenal for him right now. So, and Christian McCaffrey averaging 4.4 yards on the carry. And I'm seeing, as you see, the stat leaders for the Saints is Andy Dalton averaging what he's averaging, 14 touchdowns versus 7 interceptions, 18-19 on the pass, 21-59 by Jimmy. Kamara 511 versus 209 by Christian McCaffrey. Chris Olave just phenomenal. 51 catches for 760 versus Brandon Ayuk's 46, 6 touchdowns on that 587. So yeah, and the real phenomenal thing about Chris Olave that I'm looking at, man, the guy averages 15 yards every time he catches the ball. We just truly fortunate to have picked this guy up to help out the offense. But what do you let's delve into it like this. When you look at the 49ers against the Saints, what do you think that'll be one of the key things that the 49ers would do against the Saints defense? I know our Saints defense, like you say, the defense for the 49ers is the, I guess you would call them the Batman versus the Robin. The 49ers defense is the leader of the team. It's the same way with the Saints. Our defense is the leader. of the team. Even though they're up and down, this is how it's obviously set up. Our offense follows suit. What do you think that the three things that the 49ers could do to beat the Saints?
Well, right now the Niners are winning on offense based on talent. I mean, they have five eligible receivers in the pattern every time that are dangerous. When they
Right.
pass, they got McCaffrey in the flat, Debo, Ayuk, Kittle, as well as Kyle Juszczyk or Jawan Jennings. Each one is dangerous. So really, you need DBs who can match up. And
Hmm.
I think the Saints do. Like I don't know who's healthy, but I know from afar that the Saints are one defense that has done very well against Brady. Right?
Yes. Yes.
Rice. Okay. So, and that's not. I mean, Brady has weapons, but the Saints do well. And so, if they can do well against Brady, like Jimmy's like a knockoff target version of Brady, right? He doesn't throw down the field. He doesn't make as good of decisions, but he's similar in the sense that he wants to stand in the shotgun and get the ball out of his hands really fast. So, if you have a really good defensive backfield like New Orleans has that can play press man coverage and sort of take away the quick throws and force Jimmy to stay in the pocket, and maybe you have a couple of pass rushers, and now you get Jimmy moving under pressure, you're in good shape. You're in good shape. And then you got to stop the run too. So there's a lot you got to do against the Niners offense, but at the same time, they've had a lot of trouble scoring in the red zone this year. It's not as good of an offense as you would think. They've only really had success against their divisional opponents. When they face non-divisional opponents, they're averaging 19 points per game, and they're 2-4. So they're coming off an emotional win. It's a short week. They just did all this traveling last week. This is a great time for the Saints to play the 49ers. I'm not saying the Saints will beat them, but this is exactly when you want to face them.
Yeah, you know what? You know what, Grant? You made mention of the fact that you talked about the Miami Dolphins and the head coach having history with the San Francisco 49ers. Right now, the Dolphins are playing phenomenal football, man. A lot of people didn't think that they would be there, but they look really good. So maybe it could be the fact that the 49ers, in your opinion, like what you're saying, and I can see that they're overlooking the Saints looking at the Dolphins matchup. So yeah, that could be problematic. And that does happen. If I look at
Happens
the
all the time. Happens
oh,
all the time. And for Saints fans that don't know, the Niners spent the entire week last year the entire week last week in Colorado Springs preparing for the altitude of Mexico City. So they did a lot of traveling. They were gone for a week. I was gone too. I'm 34, but I'm tired. I didn't play the game. I can only imagine that it was kind of exhausting, and then winning like that was emotionally kind of cathartic. And
mhm.
now it's a short week. You're tired. You're looking to the Miami game, and I wonder if they'll have the same level of urgency for the Saints game that they had last week that they're going to have the week after. Because this Niners team is a team that has played down to opponents many times. They lost to the Bears. They lost to the Broncos. They lost to the Falcons. They lost by 2 touchdowns to the Falcons. I was there. It was they got destroyed. So this Niners team is very talented and they could win the Super Bowl, but they could also lose to the Saints this weekend.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, that's news to a lot of who that's ears. Even though, granted, you think about what we deal with here, we're not, and this to keep it a buck 15, as I call it, 100, with you about what's going on with the Saints inside it. Dennis Allen, to me, has lost a lot of faith in a lot of the who that's here. That's
Okay.
how he handled the Jameis situation. Who the Saints invested 20 million plus 20 million plus over Jameis for the on Jameis for over the next 2 years, and now he's systematically have alienated Jameis. Jameis is coming out, with interviews, speaking to which kind of showed the microfractures and cracks in the Saints' underbelly.
Jameis is
Uh,
healthy?
he is healthy enough to play. He said that he's healthy enough to play.
Oh. Okay.
So
And so Dennis Allen is sticking with Andy Dalton.
he's sticking with Andy. Now
Oh wow.
the pressure was on him to make a decision because Andy Dalton was coming off one of his worst performances on the loss the last loss we had, and there was a lot of pressure for him to make a QB change, not just from the Who That Nation, the media were involved, and he ultimately said he looked at it and then made a decision to go back to Andy Dalton. Just so happens that Andy Dalton had one of the best games of his Saints career anyway last week against the Rams, which if certain
The
factors
Rams are terrible. The
I
Rams are
know
so bad.
I
Jimmy
know
played well against the Rams a few weeks ago.
yeah
Sorry. Jimmy
no
and Andy
no
Dalton are
right.
similar, man. They're similar, I think. Inconsistent, can have good games, don't have
Yeah.
big arms, not playmakers.
Right, and that
Sorry. Yeah.
no, that's
Yeah.
that's my thinking on it. I'm thinking he's a guy that's a backup. Yeah, he shouldn't be in there for more than a month worth of games, in my opinion. If you're good, if your starter's ready to go, but outside of that, it's just this. Right now, the Saints have underperformed on nearly every measurement. You're talking about a team that was a couple of players off from being a playoff team last year, having a deep playoff run, and they're sitting up here what at 4-7 right now. So the Who That Nation is not split. The majority of them are already signing petitions to have him fired. I mean, there's hashtags
Dennis
that
Allen.
yes,
Are they just not playing for him like they played for Sean Payton?
they're not. I mean,
Okay.
if you put
Okay.
Sean Payton or any competent head coach, it don't have to be Coach
Yeah.
Payton. It could be Brian DeBole that will sit that run any competent head coach that's over the team that's respected would have this talent playing at a high level. But as you can see, 4-7 right now, totally not what what the Who That Nation expected. So it's a lot of angst and pressure on him to perform. So that's
Got it.
music to that ears to hear that because the Saints have to beat the 49ers, and then right after you guys is a Monday night matchup against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who lead in this thing. So we need to kind of have a 2-game winning streak, actually 3-game winning streak,
Yeah.
which Dennis Allen has won 2 games in a row before in
Okay.
his first year with the Raiders. I researched it. At first, I didn't think so, but I looked it up, and it was against the Jaguars and then against the
Yeah.
Mahomes, the Chiefs.
Okay.
So he beat the
So
Jags and the Chiefs, but that's the only time it's ever been done in his career.
so the Saints are going to fight. Like the
Yeah,
Cardinals just laid down. They quit. I mean,
yeah,
it was Mexico City. The elevation was tough, but they didn't even prepare for it. They quit. This is a team that even though they're 4-7, they're only like 2 games out of first place, like a game and a half out of first place, right?
yes,
They're
yes.
in it, so they're not going to come across country and be like, we're not as good as the Niners. Let's just get out of here. Like this is going to be a serious. Were the Niners 9-point favorites? I don't know. I
It's
feel like
something
this is going to be a closer game.
Mhm.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
I agree,
Yeah.
Grant. I think it'll be closer, but the thing is, like I've said, I have faith in the team, not so much in Dennis Allen. I told you I'm from New Orleans, but in this instance, dealing with about Dennis Allen, I'm from Missouri. You're gonna have to show me. You're gonna have
Okay.
to prove to me that you can take this team and get them where they belong and save the day.
Let me ask you a question because really this game's going to come down to can the Saints score in the second half against the 49ers? No one's done it in the last 3 weeks. Do they have enough offense, creativity, talent to do it? What do you think?
Yes,
Okay.
they do. But
Why?
like I said, you got it's a lot of playmakers. A lot of
Olave,
people don't know these guys.
Kamara,
Kamara's there, Taysom's there, but
right?
there's second layer players that also a lot of people are not very familiar with. Obviously, you know about Taysom, you know about Kamara, you know about Chris Olave,
Yeah.
but there are other guys there. There's guys like Rashid Shaheed, that our kick
Okay.
return guy that's very special. Jawan Johnson, who's another
Tight
one
end.
of our good the tight end turn,
Yeah.
from the wide receiver. And there's
Yeah.
several other young players there as well that help the Saints offense go.
Okay.
So this time
Okay.
around, looking at the injury report, there were a lot of guys that were out the
Mm.
previous game, but you're seeing Lattimore that he's practicing
Okay.
again. Cam is practicing.
Okay.
So the Saints are getting healthier at the right time to take on the 49ers. So it's about the team realizing that it's in our hands and we have to step up. If they beat the 49ers, this is definitely a confidence building win. Not so much
I,
with the Rams, like you say. Rams were terrible.
I mean, the Chargers just took the Niners down to the wire without Mike Williams or Keenan Allen, and they were in it till the very end. So you got a chance, but still, you got to score after halftime somehow. And
I,
I don't know what the magic recipe is, but you got to find something.
That and Grant, you're right, and let me not forget Jarvis Landry. Jarvis Landry had some performance too. So the Saints do have weapons. That has been the maddening aspect of why the
Mm,
Saints sitting up here at 4-7 is ridiculous. With all of the talent that we've had, we should be a lot better. So they're trying to salvage the season somewhat here and come from behind. Like you say so yourself, the NFC South is terrible. It's
yeah.
terrible to be a
You know what would
4-7
jumpstart the
team.
Saints season? Beating the 49ers.
Yes.
That would get things going. Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
right. That would be probably the biggest win of the season because the 49ers are the real deal, man. I'm
Hmm.
looking like if you look at the statistics here, I was looking over the statistics here. The Saints score per game, 22.6. That's 15th rank in NFL versus the Niners 23.6, which is good for 12 points
Okay.
again. Saints give up 24.3. And that's why they're
Okay.
under the 500 marker. You look at the Niners, third in the NFL, only allowing
17.
17.3. That's
That's right.
ridiculous, man. So they're
Hmm.
really good. So we're gonna have to test this team. We got to play a lot better than what the hell we've been playing. But I was looking at the rushing yards per contest right here. Let me see if I can count it. Can you see that, Grant? Is that clear for you? Can you see that,
Yeah,
buddy?
I can see it perfectly. Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, so yeah, the passing yards per game for the Saints is 253.8, which is top 10, is eighth. 12th is the Niners at 245.3. And of
Yep.
course, you look at the rushing yards per game, the Saints is 15th in the NFL, where the Niners is 12th. Uh, Damn, 127 yards per game. The Niners are rushing that thing, and like you said, you look at the defense here, 32 to 32 sacks here. The Saints dead last in the NFL, and in picks, the Niners are eighth in the game with 9 of them. And so, like I said, it's a lot of really great statistics
Oh,
that the
okay.
49ers looking at. So
But hold on offense, those offenses look very similar.
they do.
I'm just saying. And so the Saints defense is underperforming. The Niners defense has been great. But we'll see what happens in this game. You know,
Yeah.
it looks like the Saints have some. Looks like they can move the ball on offense.
Well, don't get fooled on a lot of that too, Grant. A lot of that stuff is garbage time performances
Ah,
by
got it.
Andy Dalton. That's how a lot. That's why it says like if people who don't know that see Dalton say, "Damn, Dalton been balling this year. Look, he got such and such amount of
Yeah.
yards." A lot of that was in garbage time and Saints losses.
Well, let me tell you something about the Niners defense because I'm just telling you how great it is. But it does have weaknesses, and it's been exposed by the Chiefs. So here's what the Saints need to tell themselves. Eric Armstead hasn't played in about 2 months, and he didn't practice Wednesday. I don't know. He has like it's like a stress fracture in one ankle and plantar fasciitis in another foot.
Mhm.
Not sure he's going to play. So without him, the Niners essentially have Nick Bosa, and their sack numbers haven't been great during this stretch, even though the defense has been great. So they're not really getting an interior pass rush. They have one guy, so
Mhm.
that's good. And then in the secondary, they lost Emmanuel Mosley, the cornerback for the year. He was playing really well. His backup, Diamador Lenore, hasn't
Mhm.
really gotten tested much the last few weeks because the Niners, they faced the Rams, the Chargers, and Colton Coy.
Mhm.
So there's an opportunity there.
Right.
They have a first-year starter, strong safety in Talanoa Hufunga, who's a playmaker. He's instinctual, but for every play he makes, he gives one up. And he gave up a
Mhm.
long touchdown a few weeks ago. So they're up. And then you got Javarius Ward, who the Niners paid a lot of money for, who, I mean, the Chiefs roasted him. And
Wow.
they, with Marquez Valdez Scantling, the Niners gave up a bunch of catches to DeAndre Hopkins last week. Like, there are opportunities against this defense. It's just, I mean, is Andy Dalton good enough? You know what I mean? Like, can he do it? And if not, maybe Tua next week.
That's the maddening thing about it. The
Yeah.
Saints offense and a lot of that what you're saying, it's very true, but they're so unpredictable, especially with Andy Dalton at the helm. And I think if they can mimic the performance that they had last week when Dalton had 40 snaps at the quarterback, Taysom had 17, and you're mixing them in between the two, that as long as they try to squeeze Taysom Hill out to the field because he's so impactful,
Mm-hmm.
you make him a running back. Last week he averaged 6 yards per rush. So
Mm-hmm.
Taysom, regardless of where you play Taysom at, he's an impact player there. So the Saints have been doing a good job over last week getting him in there. But once again, like I take that with a grain of salt. It was the Rams, and I am cognizant to realize that had um, Stafford not got hurt, the Rams more than likely would have beat the Saints because the Saints had no answer for Stafford in the first half. When the defense came on and they started to sack him and knocking him around, and then in the last sack he got hurt some kind of way and they had to put the backup in there. Their offense, their passing game disappeared. But prior to that, that guy was averaging 9.4 yards per throw. The Saints did not
Mm-hmm.
have an answer for him or their rushing attack, which was the worst in the NFL. They averaged 60 something odd yards a game, but they left with 180 something, if I'm not. It's ridiculous. So the Saints defense at times could be dominant, but the interior defense, which is very, very crazy to me, that in past years the Saints interior defensive line would just hold you down. It would smother you. I mean, some of the most unknown offensive lines and running backs, I call them the back of the backup as running backs, will get in here and it will have tremendous success against the Saints
Mm.
defense. So this is something we have to do. If we're trying to make a playoff run here, the Saints have to fix that leaky interior defensive line and not allow people to get the yardage, because you got Christian McCaffrey coming in here and he's a beast. And I'm thinking you
No,
guys are
Mitchell,
backup.
Mitchell,
Mitchell's the guy.
Mitchell. See, here's the thing with the Niners; they're a little bit different than they were in the past. In the past, they would run the ball. You'd think, okay, under center, outside zone, either with a toss or a stretch play. They don't do that anymore very well. Their entire under center offense sucks, and they've just gone to shotgun Jimmy Garoppolo, New England, and so their running game is now shotgun between the tackles, and it's not that great for Christian McCaffrey. Mitchell is the guy you got to worry about, and he's going to get you right between the tackles. He's really, really good. He's averaging 5.7 yards per carry. He's better than, as a runner, he's better than McCaffrey. More powerful, tougher to bring down. Really good. If you can't stop Elijah Mitchell, you're probably gonna lose to the 49ers. If you can stop Elijah Mitchell, you got a chance.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That's one of the things. I remember Elijah Mitchell from Louisiana, man. I remember them. We drafted. You got two really good running backs from down here, by the way. Elijah Mitchell and TYP from LSU. He was a guy that TD
Right.
Price.
That's
So
right.
yeah, I
That's
love
right.
both of those guys. So yeah, you got some talent up there in San Fran land. But yeah, you're right. The rushing attack is a part of this game. We have to be able to chop that off.
Gotcha.
where we smothered them out. And
Yeah.
I don't know, Garoppolo, and kind of ruffle his feathers, so to speak. We got to get to Jimmy and ruffle his feathers. Tell me about your offensive line, Grant. You said the offensive line. How do you feel about the offensive line? Are they a talented union? What would you rate them in the
I
NFL?
mean, they've been performing very well, but I think they've been kind of punching above their weight, and I think they got exposed a little bit against the Chiefs. The Chiefs have been the best team against the Niners so far. They did a few things really well against the Niners, but they have Chris Jones and Frank Clark, who are
Mhm.
just really big, and they overpowered the Niners' offensive line in that game. Mike McGlinchey is a liability at right tackle.
Wow.
He's a straight up liability. The right guard, Spencer Burford, is a rookie who's like 21, so inconsistent. The center is Jake Brendel, who's 30 and starting for the first time in his career. He's just a guy. And then on the left side, you got Trent Williams, who's great, and you got Aaron Banks, who's playing very well as a first year starter. The other thing about the Niners, Trent Williams tips plays. You can watch it. When he
Oh yeah.
lines up with his left foot back, it's a pass. When he lines up with his left foot on the line of scrimmage or next to his right, it's a run. So there's that thing going on with the 49ers too. But yeah, I mean, like really, if you can play press man coverage, match up, feel confident with your DBs matching up against the Niners' weapons, and then give the pass rush a chance. I think what everyone's like, oh, the Niners are playing so well in pass protection. Jimmy is getting the ball in shotgun and throwing the ball as quickly as he can. I mean, it's just
Mhm.
check down, check down, check down, check down. If you can take that stuff away and force Jimmy to actually stand in the pocket and face a pass rush, he did, if you watch that game against the Cardinals, there was no pass rush in the game. And he said,
Right.
well, Jimmy was great. If he could play like this every week. Well, I mean, he doesn't get to face the Cardinals every week. Now,
Right.
you tell me, can the Saints pull this off? Can they play press, make Jimmy hold the ball and get someone in his face? Because Jimmy's pretty mediocre when that happens.
Yeah, I think they could. If Marshawn Lattimore is good to go, Grant, that solidifies our cornerback tandem. I think Alante Taylor, our second round draft pick from out of Tennessee this year, has really had a baptism by fire. He had a couple of weeks ago. He had a not too good performance as they were targeting him in there. That's probably the roughest game, but he responded with a very good game. Alante's special. And of course, if we can get Lattimore's first time in several weeks, a long time since he's played, that he's practicing again. If he's good to go, that gives us Lattimore, a Debo, and Alante Taylor and Forbes a solid tandem of cornerback. So if we can get
Right.
those guys back, I think we could be able to pose a problem to Jimmy that way.
That's the way I look at it. If the Saints defense matches up well with the Bucks offense and Brady, then
Mhm.
you got a chance against the Niners offense because it's very, especially now. In the past, the Niners were trying to use Jimmy Garoppolo. They were trying to get him to learn and run Kyle's offense. But now, I mean, he's a free agent next year. They've already tried to replace him. It's like whatever. Let's just get through the year and play however you want to play. So now he's back to playing New England style, which is what he did when he first got here. It's just put him in the shotgun,
Mhm.
let him see the whole field. Don't make him turn his back. He's not a cerebral quarterback. He doesn't see the field that well anyway. Let him just get the ball out of his freaking hands with his quick release and take the decision making out of it. And that's been working pretty well so far. But I mean, Saints have done well against that, so it's an interesting matchup.
Yeah, it is, and like I said, it's absolutely tremendous. I'm looking forward to it. And like I said, if the Saints could beat the 49ers, man, I mean, if the mindset is right and they come in there, focus and attention to detail, which Dennis Allen is none of those things, but perhaps this is the team. Perhaps the team is saying,
Dennis
listen,
Allen is none of those things. That's
none
really
of
funny.
those
I
things.
got one more suggestion for the Saints because I'm trying to
Okay.
help, just to make the game interesting. The way you want to attack the Niners on defense when you run the ball is you want to run at Nick Bosa. Do not run away from Nick Bosa because some teams get scared and they're like, oh, he's great. We got to go at the other side. No, 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 no. Nick Bosa, and if you watch the Chiefs play the Niners, this is what Andy Reid always did. He did in the Super Bowl. He did it a few weeks ago.
Mhm.
Nick Bosa is a little undisciplined. He gets upfield very quickly. So
Mhm.
you want to run jet sweeps at him. You want to
Mhm.
run screens at him. He's a little undisciplined, and sometimes he can be one-dimensional as a pass, as just a pass rusher.
Mhm.
Andy Reid makes him like a liability in the run game by running at him and
Mhm.
using his undisciplined style of play against him. So that's the best chance you got. And it's like
Yeah.
jet sweeps, misdirection stuff. When the Chiefs play the Niners, they run the ball a lot and they're good
Mhm.
at it. And
Right.
that's not something that teams do. It's not up the middle. It's at the edge of Bosa, outside at Bosa, a bunch of different ways. It's very interesting to see
Wow.
Andy Reid do it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting there because I
Mm-hmm.
would think when watching the 49ers on film with Fred Warner and how those guys play, they play pretty fast sideline to
Sideline to
sideline.
sideline.
So I was
Yep.
wondering, I was like, yeah, it'd be interesting that we minimize trying to run stretch plays because I know that that's the recipe for disaster against a fast team. The sideline.
Well, Andy Reid does it with a
One
lot of
thing with that, right?
misdirection. He does it with a lot of misdirection.
Okay, I
He's
got
not
you.
like just like let's like stretch to the sides like up.
Yeah.
He was doing jet sweeps with Mecole Hardman. The Niners were like totally on their heels. They didn't see it coming. So it has to be
Okay.
a little bit. You're trying to get Nick Bosa to think it's a pass and to be
Right.
pretty much surprised, and he is a lot. Sometimes he's just flat out surprised.
Damn, that's great
Yeah.
intel, bro. I appreciate you dropping that on us. Hopefully, we can take this video, bro, and send it to their ass. Maybe not Dennis Allen, but perhaps to one of his assistants, because we know that I don't know if he got 3 brain cells to rub together at this point. But this is the thing also too, Grant. And
Jeez.
just to the Who Dat Nation, yo, yeah, it's hard down here,
Jeez.
bro.
Oh,
It's
here's the
hard.
thing. I'm
It's
from
hard.
Oakland. Okay.
Okay.
Dennis Allen was the coach out here. We already know.
Yeah.
We already know. I mean, this is old news. I feel so
Why you-
bad for you guys, man.
Grant, why you didn't tell us about this, bro?
I'm from
Why
Oakland,
you-
man. Like the reputation with him with the Raiders was that he could when he'd be walking down the hallway in the facility, he would come across anyone, he would like look down and away. Like not that he was arrogant, he just literally had almost like a social phobia. Like he couldn't make eye contact with people. He was most confident, most comfortable in his room drawing stuff. It's like, dude, you're a head coach now, man. You got to actually talk. You got to actually look people in the eye and say hello, shake hands, all that stuff. He seemed like he didn't have a leader mentality, a leader personality. Sure, he's a good coordinator though.
Yeah, he's a hell of a coordinator.
Yeah.
He's a hell of a
Yeah.
coordinator. Just
Yeah.
not a coordinator coach. He can't do both. He kind of stinks at that consistently.
Oh, he's trying to do both right now?
He is calling plays.
So that's why the defense is underperforming and
You can't do both. It's a
Hey, well, and that's what's happening with the Niners right now. They lost Mike McDaniel, who was the offensive coordinator. Now you got Kyle doing the offense and the team, and they're 6-4, and the offense is just getting its stuff together now. So similar, although the Niners have probably more talent than the Saints.
Well, I tell you, do you have co-coordinators? Do you guys have somebody you can't make the call on one guy? So you said, you know what? Both of you guys finished first place. You are both co-coordinators.
The Niners have a run game coordinator. They have a pass game coordinator, but
Not
losing Mike
co-coordinator.
McDaniel, losing Mike McDaniel seemed to really hurt them the first half of the year. But now, what they've done on offense, they were a run first team, and the league has pretty much figured out their run game, and we're shutting it down. They brought in Christian McCaffrey, didn't change anything, but now they're a pass first team. In the first half against the Cardinals, they threw 21 passes and ran 7 times, and it worked. And they got a lead, and then they bring in Mitchell, and he wears you down the second half. So
Great plan.
the Niners going to be throwing. That's what they do now. Their whole under center run game thing doesn't work. They're really relying on Jimmy and their weapons. So if you're going to beat the Niners, you have to have DBs who match up confidently in press man coverage, and you have to have a couple pass rushers. You got to be ready to stop the pass.
Cam and Davenport supposed to play in this matchup. We didn't have.
You got a chance. You got a chance. You got a chance. And again, this is a team, the Niners, that are 2-4 outside their division, score 19 points per game. And it's like, why? Well, they lost Mike McDaniel. He might have been the brains of the operation. Yeah. He's not doing game plans anymore. The Niners know the Cardinals. They faced the Cardinals a million times. The Rams, the Seahawks. They don't know the Saints as well. Right. So every time they face a team they don't know super well, they underperform. And it's like they had 13 points entering the third quarter against the Chargers 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks, and they didn't have Joey Bosa, they didn't have J.C. Jackson. Like they couldn't. The Chargers had the worst run defense in the league coming into that game. They completely shut down Christian McCaffrey. So there is something a little off about the Niners. Mm-hmm. I don't know. We'll see. Something a little off about it.
You know what? Man, listen. Like early on in the season, I kind of glanced at the Niners. And I seen that they went with Trey Lance, and I said this will be interesting. Then I found out the Trey Lance because they was trying to trade Garoppolo early on, and they decided
couldn't get anything from him because he was hurt.
Right
now he's healthy, he's playing well. But the thing is, he gets hurt. I mean, he's played 8 games this year. Okay, cool. Like, he did this last year too. Can you make it the next 8? Can you stay healthy? Can you keep this up? He's an inconsistent quarterback. And last week he didn't get touched. What?
Grant, does he have confidence in that O-line? You said McGlinchey is a liability. Does he have confidence in his O-line standing in front of him? I mean, I know the 49ers offense mimic a lot of what the NFL is doing right now. I call it the infinite shotgun. The majority of the teams spend more than half of the game in the shotgun because they don't have, a lot of them don't like how the offensive lines are performing. So you see all these guys, in the shotgun, eliminating the blind side, letting the quarterback by a few milliseconds or whatever it is, so they can
just getting the ball out of your hands, just getting the ball out, and like relying on your playmakers, after the catch, which is what the Niners are built to do. So right. you got to tackle, you got to play press man. You can't give up quick quick passes. You can't give up. But the thing that's interesting about the Niners is, so they want to throw screens. They don't really have any counter off of that. They're not going to do like a fake screen, pump and go. Jimmy doesn't throw down the field. They want to run the ball, but they don't really have a play action game off of that. Jimmy doesn't want to throw down the field. So you have to be able to take away their quick horizontal passing game. If you can do that and stop the run, you just might win. But no one's done that the last few weeks.
Hopefully we can be able to do that, Grant.
Yeah.
Shout out to the Who Dat Nation, man. We talking to Mr. Grant Cohn. He's in the building representing the Cohn Zone. He's on Twitter, YouTube. The man, obviously, he's spitting fire. You hear the man, you know what he's talking about. He giving you tendencies on players. Trent Williams, see that game plan right there on Trent Williams. If you had an astute defensive staff, they'd have that on the scouting report.
Oh, the word is out on that. We interviewed the Niners offensive line coach, and he was like, "Yeah, I've been talking to Trent about that. Trent really likes to do it, but I kind of try to explain to him like, yeah, man, but it sort of tips off the rest of the defense about. So yeah, they're working on that.
He an inside man. That's what.
Yeah. Sorry, Niner fans.
But yeah, that's the thing. But you do score predictions, Grant?
I do, and I should have one right now because it's Friday, but I don't have one for you. What are you thinking, man? What are you thinking?
Man, I'm thinking a close game. I'm not thinking nothing where something ridiculous. I don't think it'll be a blowout. I think this will be a close game. I think it'll more than likely come down to something between a touchdown and a field goal and a touchdown, somewhere in there, 7 points, maybe 3. So I'm calling maybe 28-24, something like that, 28-27, maybe something like that in the middle ground right there. That's what I'm looking at.
I actually think it's going to be a little lower scoring than that. I don't know. I don't have a lot of confidence that New Orleans is going to score in this game. I think the Niners defense is pretty legit, and I don't have a lot of respect for Andy Dalton. Sorry. It's Andy Dalton.
That's
Andy Dalton.
Yeah, I know Andy Dalton.
It's Andy Dalton.
Yeah, Andy Dalton is there.
Like if you told me that they were going to bench him and play Jameis Winston, I'd be like, oh, okay, let me reconsider. But it's Andy Dalton.
Yeah. But
sorry,
see, that's the no problem at all.
Yeah.
I appreciate the truth. But see, that's why.
So I'm thinking more like 23-16, something more like that. Like I don't really expect the Niners' offense to score a lot of points. I think the Saints' defense is going to show up and match up. But Andy Dalton's going to have to put up some points in this game against one hell of a freaking defense. One hell of a defense.
Yeah. Especially when they start rattling this bell and knock him around. Does
Sean Payton call up Dennis Allen, help him game plan, and be like, hey, I think you might want to do no. Sorry.
And that's the thing about Dennis Allen. There were suggestions made that maybe does this guy know anybody? Does he know any old coaches that he can come on and bring on as a consultant?
It's always a good question. What is his network? His network is Sean Payton.
Right. Yeah.
His network is Sean Payton. Yes.
Yeah, and I think Coach Payton too busy handling his own business right now. And Dennis Allen said, "Hey, man, you're a head coach now. You took the job. You're gonna have to come up with your own stuff."
Pretty much.
So So I don't know, but I can see what you're saying in terms of that game plan being like that. Grant, no, that's totally fine. 49ers defense. I was looking at film. They are serious.
Here's the thing with Andy Dalton. He can't turn the ball over. You can't. And it looks like he's been doing that a little bit this year. Jimmy, the one thing about him is in the past, he used to throw a lot of picks. This year, he's done 4. So if Andy Dalton's going to throw a pick or two, you're not going to win. So he's got to play not only like mistake free, but he's also going to have to make some plays. But hey, at least you should know that the Niners offense probably isn't going to score more. I mean, again, they're averaging 19 points per game against. So if you could just get 20, 22, you might win, but you're going to have to find a way to get 20, 21, 22 points. It's not insurmountable.
No, it's not. But it's the way they mix Dalton and Taysom Hill together. That's the thing.
Yeah. Okay.
Taysom is they mixed them in there and they kind of throws defenses off. Okay, here go this guy, and now they let Taysom throw the ball, which is another component that he's getting used to. So hopefully that'll be enough to kind of spin him around a little bit. But the 49ers,
it's going to take some serious creativity to put up 20 points against his defense. So
yep. They're holding you to what, 17 a game, Grant? Was that what the tally is on it? 17.
But here's the thing, again. So the Niners, when they got smacked by the Chiefs, they had just spent the week on the East Coast. Because what the Niners like to do is if they have back-to-back East Coast games, they'll stay out there and not come back. So they like acclimate themselves and they don't get so when they come back though, they're exhausted. And then they get jet lag and they get smacked in that first game back from the East Coast. So they're not jet lagged, but they just spent 6 days, in the snow and then in Mexico City. Are they tired? What are they going to look like? It's a short week. They were just on the road. They did a bunch of extra travel. In the past, when they do that, they lose. But they're not coming back from the East Coast. I'm just curious to
Nope.
see. This is a great time to face the 49ers. Great time. Andy, play your best.
Yeah, yeah.
This is
Amen to
it.
that. Listen to Grant, Andy. Play your best. And also the 49ers are pretty good at home, Grant. They're 3-1
That's
at
right.
home. So
That's right.
not bad. And the Saints are 1-3 on the
The
road.
one
So
the one game they
that's not
lost at
great.
home was to the Chiefs. To the
Yeah.
Chiefs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See that? So they're pretty damn good at home.
Yeah.
The Saints are not good on the road. The Saints are 1-3. So they're gonna have to
Good to
do
know.
they got
The mark of a poorly coached team right there, right?
yes,
Dennis
yes.
Allen. Hey, if he goes 5-12 this year, 6-11, is he gonna get fired after 1 year?
I'm gonna push for it. I'm really we pushing to get him out of here. We're
All
not
right.
gonna let them sell us on this guy because it's
Okay.
not the fact that he doesn't know, it's the fact that it's just 10 years under Sean Payton. We seen what you did with Oakland.
Yeah.
10 years under Payton, he's doing the same thing in Oakland. He's just not meticulous enough and organized enough to be a head coach. And it shows his little weird uh social quirks is obvious, man.
Does he have the locker room behind him?
I think a lot of people
Half.
I think
You
it's
got the
like half,
defense.
maybe something around there because a lot of people was rocking with Jameis.
Exactly.
Jarvis
See, these are the kind of
was
teams the
big
Niners
with
beat.
Jameis.
These are the kind of
Yeah,
teams the Niners beat, really, I think. I mean,
right.
like Cliff Kingsbury, terrible coach, Matt Rule, they just destroyed those teams. Now, they did lose to Nathaniel Hackett and the Broncos. I don't know how that
Yeah,
happened. You
right,
know what I'm saying? But, like,
right.
for example, they lost to the Falcons. The Falcons are a well coached team. They're not a particularly talented team, but they play hard. They don't beat themselves. I thought they were actually a lot better prepared and better coached than the Niners. But I don't know about the Saints. It seems like the Saints are like the Niners. They're underperforming. Or the Niners may not be underperforming anymore. They're on a 3-game winning streak. I can't say that. But it's just like, who'd they beat? The Chargers, the Rams, and Colt McCoy? Okay. It feels like this Saints team is a step up from that, even if they're not a playoff team. I don't know. Are the Saints better than the Chargers? I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know. I don't know.
From a talent perspective, I
They
think
should be.
the Saints should be. And I
Yeah.
think a lot of reason why the Saints are underperforming is because they don't have a leader.
Oof.
Bottom line, that's what it comes down to.
Good point,
It
huh?
right, any
It was Drew Brees and
combination.
Sean Payton. They're both gone, and now there's a leadership void. It was supposed to be Jameis, but then they took it away from him. It's definitely not
Alienated.
Andy Dalton. It can't be
No,
Andy Dalton. It's
no,
not Dennis Allen. Ooh, that's a
nope.
good point. That's a good
Right.
point. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So
That sucks.
that's why we're 4-7 right now. And like you said, if you're relying on a $20 million quarterback and you relegating them to and saying, well, he's not healthy enough to play. Now remember, Dennis
Yeah.
Allen, you know this better than anybody. Dennis Allen misspeaks a lot. He doesn't apologize. When he stinks it up, he classifies it as a bad day at the office and all this kind of. When he lost to the Pittsburgh Steelers, that's when I got upset. I got up on here and I blew this whole damn thing up. I
Yeah.
got up here and I said, there's no freaking stinking way in the world that the Saints, as good as they are, should have lost to the Pittsburgh Steelers, which is one of the worst teams in the NFL. They could not run the ball, couldn't do a damn thing, but they were able to beat the Saints by double digits. And then Dennis Allen got up there and said it's a bad day at the office. That just done me right there because he doesn't have the leadership capabilities. A lot of stuff I talk about on the show all the time, this man doesn't have. And it's
Mhm.
not like you can go to leadership school and get these things. So if the Saints are going to win games, it's going to be because they internally have guys like Demario Davis, Cam Jordan, guys that are actual leaders that know what they need to do to
Mm.
galvanize Elvin Kamara and the rest of those guys on offense, Jarvis Landry. They're going to have to take it from a player's ownership and move it forward. Now, I was asking where the player only meetings and things that would happen when the Saints were 4-5 or whatever
Yeah.
the case may be. Why we got to this point.
Mhm.
So the players are going to have to elevate the team because the coach damn sure can't do it.
It feels like this is a critical week for the Saints. If they lose, they're 4-8.
Yes.
Goodbye. Your season's
Yes.
over at 4-8.
It's
If you
done.
win,
Mhm.
and beat the 49ers, now
Big.
you're 5-7, and
Big.
you're right in it with you're right in contention in your division, and you just beat the team that everyone says is the team to beat. So,
Tampa Bay.
who are you, New Orleans Saints? Are you a team that's going to
Yes.
fly cross country and lay down, or are you going to fly cross country and make a statement? Because again, I really feel the Niners, they're professionals, but there is no way they're going to have the urgency in this game that they had last week or that they're going to have next week. This is it. They're coming off a big road trip, and it's a short week for them. This is it. This is your season. What are you going to do?
Man, Grant, man, we need to hire Grant to go down there and bullhorn. You heard what he just said, family? We
This
need
is
to get
it.
Grant down there to bull. Who are you, New Orleans Saints? That
Yeah.
is well said, bro.
Thank you.
Listen, fam, let's Grant tell the family members about your platform and where they can find you, my friend.
You can find me on YouTube. Search Grant Cohn, Cohn. You can find me on Twitter. I write for SportsIllustrated.com. So that's si.nfl.com/NFL/49ers. I don't even know. I'm around, man. I'm obnoxious. You'll probably find me even if you don't want to find me.
Hey, I got your Twitter up there. That's Twitter. There he is on Twitter right
Appreciate you,
there.
man. Thank you so much.
You the man, bro. And there's
Yeah.
his YouTube right there, Grant Cohn, man. Get on there and hit him. You see the man dropping dimes. He's a 49er man, but he's a smart guy. He knows his team. He's thorough. He's
Thank you.
very thorough, man.
Thank
So
you.
Grant, once
Appreciate it.
again, man, I appreciate you dropping some dimes and shining some light on the Who Dat Nation about the 49ers, man. Hopefully we can get this thing. I think it'll be an interesting game, but you're right. Who are you, New Orleans Saints? This is the statement game to see how that goes.
This was a lot of fun. Let's do this again next time the Niners and Saints play.
Absolutely, bro. Hey, bro, after the game, if you got some time, bro, for the recap, feel free, win, lose, or draw. You're more than welcome to come and drop some game on the Sports Coma, bro. We in here.
All right. Let's talk. All right.
Thank you, man. That's Grant, man. And shout out to the Who Dat Nation. We appreciate all y'all for chiming in this episode. Please feel free to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and also remember for the pro shops. I know we got several pro shops, but right now there's sales going on, obviously, for the Black Friday and the cyber sales is going on, online cyber sales. You can get up to 20 to 60% off on Sports Coma gear. And hey, we got our designers working on a Fire DA shirt that should be out over the next day. So, man, I'm leading the charge. But then again, if he get this win, there's still gonna be people talking about firing his ass. So, so anyway, win, lose, or draw, you're gonna have to get to the playoffs for me to back.
That's how it is in the Bay, though. Like when the Niners lose, people are like, "Oh, it's time to fire Kyle Shanahan." But when they win, they're like, "Is this the best team in the entire league?" It's very bipolar out here. It's funny.
He's trolling the people. That's what it is. They lay down there and then they come back and give you a good performance. See, it's hard to get them topsy-turvy guys, but Dennis Allen ain't like that. Dennis Allen is definitely one side. We ain't double thinking his ass, bro. I promise you that. All right. So there we go. So, but thank you, Grant. Much love to the fam, man. We're going to holler at y'all on the flip side. Who that to you? We out.
Yeah. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Long as I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. Sports Coma, yeah, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like Elf. I thank God every day I'm not a felt. Go to YouTube Live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your shame for the championship. Bucking on town, duck down. Falcons pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy, then you probably smell the crooked referees or Roger Goodell. Yeah, probably like this, and I'm a who that. Every day I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
Pro Shop, that's right, the Pro Shop, is the platform store where you can go and buy all the latest merch to support the platform. Available at the Pro Shops, we have dozens of hundreds of products available for you and your family. Unisex tees for men and women, hoodies and sweatshirts, tank tops, kids and baby items, long sleeve tees, mugs, pillows, wall art, bath bedding, face masks, phone cases, stickers, bags, fanny packs, socks, hats, and many other items. Please feel free to check out the Pro Shops. The link is in the description section below. And remember, it helps the platform continue to grow. Check out the Pro Shop and Who That too.
TheWhoThatDaily.com. That's right, TheWhoThatDaily.com. Your one-stop shop for everything New Orleans Saints, New Orleans Pelicans, LSU Tigers, and even the top flight boxing. So if you're a Who That and you're looking for a place to stay up on your team, TheWhoThatDaily.com is your site. TheWhoThatDaily.com for the sport Who That in all of us.